out here today conducting a parade recycling program, which is probably the hardest environment in the world to try to recycle. It's a 3-mile long party that goes through the public streets. It's not an enclosed environment like a festival you would think of. And so the atmosphere out here is probably the most difficult to actually capture things and divert them from the landfill.
Hey, can we have your cans when you're done? Yeah, that'd be great.
Carnival season, Mardi Gras, is the largest free and unsponsored event in the entire world. And so this is this huge festival that is put on, totally open to the public to attend. And the way that it's paid for is through the members that ride in these parades and these crew organizations. They pay to be a member of the parade, and they also fund the parade by buying packages of throws. The most common throw, of course, is the Mardi Gras bead. And a parade can have as many as 3,700 members just in one parade. And we're talking about 70 parades or more through the season. And so there's just a deluge of disposable plastic items.
Trying to get some folks to recycle their cans and unwanted beads. That is depressing right there. So we just had someone turn in a bunch of broken and dirty beads that can't be used. So those are all going to go to the landfill, unfortunately. Every carnival, we import millions of pounds of these beads, and we have as much as 2.6 million pounds of street waste just left out that all goes to the landfill in 11 days of carnival. So even though we're only picking up 2.6 million pounds of beads and trash left on the street, there's actually a lot more that comes in that goes through the circulation of Mardi Gras and then will eventually end up being disposed of at home and then into the landfill.
These beads are going to be donated to ARC of Greater New Orleans, and they are going to be sorted and recycled by adults with developmental disabilities and then resold to the parades next year. In 5 blocks, they found 96,000 pounds of beads in the septic system of New Orleans a couple years ago. And what we're doing is trying to prevent that from happening.
They're bad in a couple of contexts. One of them is the chemical context. Each color contains a different chemical makeup, but many of the colors contain more lead than is the legal maximum limit for children's toys. The other thing as well is that they go into storm drains, so the physical presence of them in storm drains acts very much like a sediment. And when we think about them as a sediment, a lot of the science that we know from sedimentology, which is my subdivision of geology, can be applied. And these are quite heavy. I don't know if you've ever carried a bag of Mardi Gras beads, but they are quite heavy. So once they get into the storm drains, in a lot of cases, the only way that they can be removed is by actually being physically taken out.
You've heard the phrase reduce, reuse, recycle. So our vision is to try to allow and build and create a local sustainable throw economy. And that means coming up with ideas for throws that are things that are functional, biodegradable, consumable, with an emphasis on Louisiana products. So we want to find things that people can use.
We got some biodegradable glitter, which was a lot of fun. We got some wooden toothbrushes, which is always good, just in case, you know, if you have an out-of-town guest. We got some red beans, maybe some jambalaya mix.
These are some wildflower seeds. I've got coffee. I've got jambalaya. And I've got red beans. These are all, oh wait, and some soap that's locally made in New Orleans. All sustainable.
We had our first Krewe branded package in 2022 last year with the Krewe of Iris, and it was over 100,000 eco-friendly throws. And the response that we got from the community was just amazing. The community, the riders, everyone was just over the moon with the packages that we created. And we had, beautiful images of people out on the parade route holding up signs saying, "Throw me your sustainables."
We've taken that responsibility very seriously, which is why we did start working with Grounds Crew and with Brett last year, or 2 years ago.
I think it's happening because the first year we dealt with Brett, we sold 500 packages, and we ordered 1,000. But after people saw it, when we went back the next year, we ordered more, and we ended up selling 1,000 plus the 500 that we didn't sell the year before. So I think people just need to get used to it. It's a little bit of a different Mardi Gras. It's a little bit of a different throw, and I think that people are catching on because all of the other throws, the other crews are starting to do it too now.
Last year, the city created during Mardi Gras almost 1,200 tons of waste, and that can mean beads that get in our stormwater system, obviously waste that goes to our landfill, which can produce greenhouse gas emissions. Brett has been, really helping us lead the way, I think, in building off what he's done and giving us a model for what the city can do moving forward.
So since 2004, we've looked for what we call reusable items.
Yeah, reusable.
We've thrown pedicure kits.
Mm-hmm.
We've
Band-Aids.
thrown sleep masks. Band-Aids.
Band-Aids.
Our captain comes up with a lot of really brilliant ideas, and she's always loved Thomas Mann's jewelry.
Tom, being a local artist and very, very well known and very, very collectible, she started meeting with him and having that. So this is the first year, which was this last year.
Because they're valued, we know that a Thomas Mann necklace won't end up in a storm drain or getting scooped up after the parade.
I believe that this whole thing is important because we're actually going back in an interesting way to the Mardi Gras throws roots. And back in the day, the throws were much more precious because they were glass beads that were made in Japan and Czechoslovakia. So in the early years of Mardi Gras, the beads that were quote unquote thrown could be worn year round as an actual fashion accessory, where you're going to be much more reluctant to wear plastic beads, out in the middle of the summer.
To me, the fun of riding is that you're playing catch with the city. And you pick someone and you're energetically aligned, and you make eye contact, you have a little nod, and then you go for it. And that takes more time than just blindly throwing them out there. So I think if people can engage with the community aspect of it, where you're saying, "Hi, I see you. Do you see me? Great." Even that right there, like taking 8 or 7 seconds longer, paces it out a little bit better.
If you love Mardi Gras and you want the next generation to enjoy Mardi Gras the way we are now, we have to change this current climate of throwing trash into the street. We need to throw things like this that are treasured and are sustainable, handmade throws. Otherwise, I'm not sure what Mardi Gras is going to look like in 150 years.
Sustainability is really important in our crew as a part of our mission. One of the things we asked the members after our first ride was what would they change, what improvements they wanted to see made, and sustainability was right at the top of the list. So what we ended up doing is offering 2 sets of packages, one purely sustainable throws through Grounds Crew, and then one with our customary bead distributor, opting only for recycled larger beads, and then everything else in our packages are all things that can be reusable and are sustainable. We also have paper beads that actually some ladies in Uganda actually made, so they came from Africa, and they're absolutely amazing.
Catching things that are handmade, catching things that are sustainable, I think those are just as exciting, if not even more exciting for our kids.
I think they're great as long as they're being recycled, but I think it's better if we have sustainable beads, like glass beads, like these ones right here.
I prefer a sustainable glitter over microplastics any day of the year, especially at Mardi Gras. Yeah! Because we are not polluting. We are enjoying and making ourselves pretty without any issues in the environment.
Hey, can we have your cans when you're done? They love it. They absolutely love it. Everyone that comes to pick up says the same thing. They're like, wow, I am so glad that this exists. You know, I'm so glad that somebody is doing something about this. I'm so glad that somebody is helping us to make a change.
The idea that we're moving towards a more precious, more collectible, more sustainable kind of Mardi Gras gift, because that's what it is. It's a gift to the audience from the crews that makes their Mardi Gras experience exciting.
I think what change is always difficult, and I think as more people see the items and see how nice they are, I think more crews will be shifting towards sustainable packaging.